And we are back here for the second set, a quick turnaround. We're going to have the Utah Stingers now taking on the Chicago Untouchables after that nail-biter. Team Freedom refuses to play anything less than 5 sets, it seems. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, that was a great way to start the day, but let's talk about Chicago Untouchables against Utah Stingers. The Stingers last night coming off of a quick turnaround. We saw a 5-set deuce game, every set, overtime battle last night like we've never seen before.
Say that one 4 times
I'm
fast.
not going to try it, but they're here ready to go again, and pretty curious to see how they're all feeling physically. I spoke to a couple of the players before this match. They're a little bit fatigued, but they know that this is their last opportunity to score some points before weekend number 4 and, chasing that cup.
Yeah, it was certainly interesting to see. Right now we see the Stingers line up without Rusty Levaya in the middle, missing Alex Shmelyov as well, and then also Leo Durkin, so 3 integral pieces that are out. You're seeing Hamilton Days had a great tournament so far, but, there is a little bit less experience than Leo Durkin, so sometimes in that tough situation, it can be a tough spot to be in, as well as we saw Jake Langlois playing middle last night as, an attempt at a solution to the problem that was the Southern Exposure middles.
Yeah, and again, I think we're going to see some physical fatigue come into effect this match for the Stingers as well. So for the Untouchables, they've been playing well. They should be relatively fresh. They had a match yesterday. But I see Paul Bolonzik, the 7-footer in. I see Ian Kapp, who will take over the setting responsibilities for them as well.
Oh, that is going to be Kapp playing outside. Number 2 there is going to be taking hands. Getting rosters pulled up really quick here. So you're going to see Buffum in the middle, Paul Blonzik in the middle opposite of him. That's going to be, I believe, did I see Schwady out there? No. Okay, so that's going to be Dan Nugent outside, opposite of Kapp. Eddie Kiesecker on the right. Getting one more.
You see our current status from our new camera angle up there.
Moises Lopez, number 2. That was the last name I needed to pull up there. On the side of the Stingers, you're going to have outsides are going to be Anoval Romero, opposite of Jake Langlois. We're going to see Hamilton Day running the ship. You're going to see Jorge Mencia or George Mencia, number 9, on the right side. And then same middles we saw yesterday with Kai Duquem starting in yellow, number 7. On the side of the Untouchables, that's going to be JJ Rosa, that is wearing blue. Getting all the paperwork, everything sorted out here, and we'll be underway in just a moment. Pass taken there, goes backside. George Mencia wipes that off the hands of Kapp. Net called against George Mencia as a follow through to the wipe.
Some early drama going on, first point of the match.
Yeah.
We thought we saw Mencia get the kill, but then there was a net violation called against him. Some argument going down.
Moises Lopez with a serve, set to the outside, and Noble Romero swings and to Paul Tall gets the shutdown. The 7-footer, number 16, we laughed about it yesterday. He is like a dog that gets too excited for the owner when they gets home. He just loves to bring that energy everywhere on the court while the team brings it in without him.
Huge terminal block by Paul Bolonzik to start.
Langlois sprays that one to left front, and Noble Romero the only option, triple block, reset. Hamilton goes right back to him, but it's 2 outside and unable to be brought back in. Stingers off to a little bit of a rocky start, down 3 here.
Very interesting start to see. I'm telling you, fatigue is definitely going to be a factor for Utah Stingers, especially Hamilton Day. He's basically been the only setter that has been playing throughout the weekend, so he's got about 9 sets under his belt so far.
Covered by Langlois. Day goes back to George once again, and that one is going to be blocked. I thought I saw equipment touch there by Untouchables myself.
By the blocker,
yeah.
not the ball.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw equipment touch, whether it was a pin or the net, but nothing called, and Untouchables go to 4-0. Short serve to Langlois.
Oh.
Set goes to Metcalf in the middle, but Paul Bolonzik getting fired up, starting with 2 early at 5-0.
Gotta love the fire that Paul Bolonzik brings to the court when he does something good. He gets his whole team involved.
Everyone back home in the Windy City watching, he is going to get you fired up from your couch today. Hope you're enjoying this. And a back set to George, touched, dug by Nugent, set to the outside. Cap swings high line, doesn't find the touch he wants, and that's going to be point number 1 for the Stingers. With a substitution coming in, that's going to be Paul Clark coming in to serve for Metcalf.
Quite the strong start from the Untouchables. Quick 4-point lead. Making that uphill battle effective from the very beginning here for the Stingers.
Paul Clark hammers a big jump serve, but now Paul Bolonzik still able to find his swing off a nice pass there by Rosa.
You know, it's important to talk about, Nick, that the Stingers finished up that match last night at 10 p.m. local time, right on the dot. I was watching my watch the whole time, my clock.
2-hour, 51-minute match.
Going on 13 hours of recovery in time for this match to start.
That serve is going to be long from Cap. Cap has not been able to get dialed in the way he wants this weekend. Had a stellar serving performance in Atlantic City just 2 weeks ago. George goes after Rosa. Nugent on the outside. Swings, does not find a touch.
Lots of chipping towards the down referee to start this match.
Yes, some disagreements on the calls already made. Cap out of system, and Eddie Kiesecker rolls that one in. Hamilton goes to Jake Langlois on the bick. Swung wide, batted up by Langlois, goes to Romero, and there's a kill.
Yeah, I thought that the down ref saw Langlois step on the line. I saw Langlois step on the line. Looks like you saw Langlois step on the line, but the up ref, Tony Chen, said he was clean, so no call.
That's the man that makes the calls, so our opinions, right, wrong, and different, frankly, just don't matter.
No, it just doesn't matter, Nick.
Rosa the target once again, and Paul Bolonzik with a swing, picked up by Hamilton Day and over from Romero, taken by Rosa. Quick back set, Kiesecker slams that one down the line. Duquem unable to come up with a dig. Steady Eddie Kiesecker picking right back off from day 1 where he left off, and now Matt Buffum rotates into the front row.
Interesting to see how the Untouchables, sort of some new faces and personnel, Buffum in the middle, Kiesecker getting some action. See how they do, especially the Cap on the outside playing against the Stingers, again, that played just 13 hours ago.
Romero takes a big swing, but there's a huge block. And right now, the Chicago Untouchables are understanding the way to beat the Stingers is to slow down that offense. Triple blocks going on all directions right now, firing on all cylinders. It's a great first step to seeing if they can take down this overwhelmingly offensive team. Langlois is able to find the bick once again, now 2 for 2.
You touched on it. The Stingers are a very offensive team. Okay, physically, they're Jake Langlois 6'10", Lazaro's about 6'8", Mencia 6'8", Novo Romero 6'8". All right, so yeah, the Untouchables are going to have their hands full. However, they're not at full strength.
They are certainly not, but that is unfortunately part of being in the NVA, is managing the roster you've got, and that's why it's so important to be recruiting bench players, guys that are may not be your first option, but they're all going to get their time to play with 3 matches per weekend and 3 main weekends that qualify you in for that 4th. Pass by Romero is a little bit tight. Hamilton slings that to the outside. Chicago tries to battle with it to send it over and unable to do so. That 6'10" man on the outside using every bit of that height.
Yeah, he's going to carry a big offensive load again, as he's expected to every single time the Stingers play in an NVA match. Played a little middle blocker last night just to help his squad out and get Storm onto the court. Said it wasn't his favorite position to play, but he's willing to be a team player and make that happen.
That's what it takes sometimes. Finding a way to win, or finding a way to continue competing and getting the personnel that's so important on the court. It was also interesting to see that while he was playing middle, he was continuing to actually stay in back row, keeping the libero off the court. Set to the outside now, and Nugent hammers that ball down the line, abusing a little bit of that mismatch with Hamilton Day being the shortest front row blocker. Untouchables find the set they want, and that's going to take us to 10-7. Untouchables holding on to a 3-point lead. Langlois takes with his hands. Quick set to the middle. Metcalf strokes that one in over his shoulder to the 1-6 seam. Unable to be dug by Nugent.
Yeah, nice attack there by Metcalf. Look for him to take on a bigger load offensively, as long as the passing can offer up some more middle attacks for the Stingers.
Buffum with a big swing from a hand-received pass by Cap. Chicago Untouchables right now battling in serve receive with the tough serves of the Stingers, and that's what's going to be critically important. If they can activate their middles, that is definitely an area where they're going to have I would say, a bit of an advantage using Paul Blonzik and Matt Buffum. Romero with an out-of-system pass. George Mencia the only option. Matt Buffum playing off defense. Eddie Kiesecker not able to get that one over the net.
Unfortunate hitting error there by Kiesecker, as Matt Buffum did have a nice dig, giving his team a chance for a point in transition. Just didn't quite end up that way.
Jake goes with a float, gets the ace, cross to court, goes coast to coast, drops that in, no one home. JJ Rosa thinks it was going out. Jake goes to the same location, but that time misses wide. That's the same serve that they thought they saw last time for the Untouchables. And now Moises Lopez will go back to serve.
Lopez taking over the setting duties today.
Yep.
Actually needs a few more service repetitions to warm up, it seems like.
Yep. It's pretty interesting to see Cap, just a guy that does it all. Experience playing setter and libero most notably, but has had a wealth of experience playing outside hitter here in the NVA. So now we see him go backside, looking for some hands. Nowhere else to go with that set. It was just too far outside the court. So the advanced blockers of the Stingers knew that there was no reason to chase that with their hands. Cap launches that one into us. Paul Clark coming to save that big scary ball from us. Appreciate that, Paul. Metcalf with a short serve taken by Rosa. Goes to Blonzik, not able to be picked up by Hamilton Day. There's the serve from Cap. And a nice game ball touch over here. And there's the Cap we were wanting to see, hammering home with aggressive serving.
Yeah, always a danger from the end line for the opposition. As we've seen Ian Cap go on multiple service runs throughout the season. Yesterday, not so much. This could bode well for the team from Chicago.
Overpass taken by Rosa. Quick to the outside. Nugent takes the swing, but that is funneled back into the court by Jorge Mencia. And we see the patented take a look through the net you were talking about back in Atlantic City. Anytime he gets a block, George Mencia likes to just kind of take a look through the net.
He likes to take a look to make sure that the hitter knows that he blocked him.
Mencia goes down the line, rose to the target once again. And now Eddie takes a big swing off the outside hand there of a Novel. Romero unable to corral that back in.
Yeah, I expect Romero to have a bit of a slow start. He was a key player for the Stingers last night.
Paul with a deep float, but kept alive by Langlois. Now set to Romero on the outside. Dug by Paul Balanza. Cap's going to take second hand duty. Goes outside.
Oh.
Kept alive by George, but that one's not going to be able to be picked up by Lazaro Fernandez coming across the front row. And that's going to be our technical timeout at 16-13. A 3-point lead here for the Chicago Untouchables. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a couple commercials from our sponsors. And we are back with Paul Balanzic on the back line. Got a nice dig during that last rally. See if he can extend it by one more. Jake Langlois in serve receive. Romero with a big swing, able to use the block there of Eddie Kiesecker. Romero an aggressive swing. Loves his hard angle, but there goes down the line. Sees an opportunity to tool the block and takes advantage of it. That's a great kill, much needed for Romero. Currently dealing with a couple errors on his end. That's a nice way to start some momentum for him. And Nugent, number 10, producing steadily. Dan Nugent, brother to Chris Nugent, the Freedom outside. One of our multiple family ties here in the NVA.
It'd be very interesting to see if the Untouchables match up against Team Freedom at all during week 4. Playoff rounds.
Eddie Kiesecker, big serve. Langlois just jams that one down. Something very interesting to see about Langlois is they use a variety of set tempos and locations. That one was a bit on an inside route. Goes up, sees the block, trying to take away hard angle, and able to just throw that tip down hard. He definitely minimizes the amount of big swings. When he sees that block, he just finds ways around it. Incredible vision.
Great vision, yeah.
Kiesecker hammers that one down, and that is a confident set to go back to the D-ball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of vision, Kiesecker seeing where Langlois wasn't and taking full advantage of it.
Nugent goes to the float, targeting Kai Duquem. Outside, and there's the big hammer. Langlois, when he sees the opening, he's always more than happy to hammer it home, but he is such an error mitigator. He does not ever take those high-risk swings. He knows how to avoid it, and he's always got another tool in the belt to answer it.
Advantages of having a 6'10" outside hitter like Jake.
High swing from Buffum, dug by Romero off a block touch, and now Langlois cranks one into the deep corner once again, down by one, and we're going to toss it over to Ira Thor, the man with the mic on the sideline. Ira, over to you.
There we go. There's my mic. I spoke to Coach Mitch Wisherskin during the timeout, and he said when the team took the big lead over Utah, they were playing super aggressive. When Utah began to rally, it's because they kind of fell into a little bit of a lull when playing point for point with the Stingers. They want to avoid doing that. He stressed to the Untouchables during that last timeout that if they're going to continue to be able to counter this Utah squad, they're going to have to be playing that aggressive style that allowed them to jump out to that early lead. We'll take a listen on Utah during this timeout and let you know where they stand when we report next.
Thanks so much. It's definitely one of those situations that the Stingers are so hard to take down because they've got so many players that have not only played at the top levels of D1 men's volleyball, but they've played professionally. They've played on national teams from Cuba to Puerto Rico to USA, and just so much experience. So even when you get them into a tough situation, it feels like their back's against the wall. They never stop fighting.
Yeah, the volleyball IQ for the Stingers is large.
Yeah, certainly is
Deep.
something that, and it's worth so many points actually, not just an insurmountable thing, but you talk about Ian Cap, right there, one of the shorter guys front row, going after the big dog himself, takes down Langlois with a nice block move.
Yeah, nice dive back into the angle.
Float serve from Buffum, targeting Duquim. This time it's set to the outside. Block touch by Lopez, resets it. And now to the middle. Metcalf goes cut back to zone one, gets a kill on the line. Stingers still down by 2 here. Langlois has been, he's already accumulated 1 ace for himself. We'll see if he's able to accrue another. One option out of that pass. Chopped down the line by Cap, and Langlois keeps that up with a diving effort. But for the 3rd time this set, Noel Romero is blocked straight down, and the Chicago Untouchables seem to have number 15 on speed dial right now.
Yeah, Polanzik with another stuff down block on Inoval Romero and celebrates with his team.
Duquim targeted, Duquim is aced. Right now, Chicago Untouchables think that Duquim is their serving target, and they finally break him.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it really doesn't, but
Kai Duquim get aced.
Timeout call for the timeout called for the Stingers, and that's going to be a point for the Untouchables as they extend their lead to 4, 22-18.
Commanding lead here, 4 points. Okay, maybe not quite commanding, but a solid lead here as the Untouchables are at 22, and Stingers trying to figure out what they need to do to sort of calm the storm that is the Chicago Untouchables at the moment, and especially the blocking of one 7-footer Paul Polanzik.
Yeah, we talk about sometimes, you know, that kind of size is always impressive. But if you're not disciplined at blocking, sometimes it's almost easier for hitters to just use your forearms and just swing away at the big man. But right now, and we've seen it for a long time, Paul Polanzik is very disciplined with his hands. He gets over the net, seals well to the pins, and he's really being a force to be reckoned with right now. 3 recorded blocks in set number 1 is an impressive stat, to say the least.
Bodes well for the Chicago squad.
Moises Lopez with a float serve, backside to George Mencia. Cap 1-on-1, dug by Nugent. Eddie Kiesecker bumps set to the outside. Cap takes a rip, but it's going to be picked up by Day. Jump set from Duquim over the backside, tip over the top, picked up by Rosa. Now Cap launches cross court to Eddie Kiesecker, who swings deep. And the offensive options are unlimited right now. Great defensive efforts from Chicago Untouchables.
Great swing by Kiesecker there in transition. All thanks to the set from Cap in transition. It's nice to have your normal starting setter also on the floor, but just playing outside hitter. Getting some good hittable sets. Whoop.
That one calls over the net. Stinger's going to try to make that, just a free ball coming back. Rosa takes ball 1. Now Cap hammers that, but that's going to be hit into the antenna.
Cap trying to sort of swing to avoid the Mencia block right there, and I'd like, maybe that set was a little bit too tight for him. I'd like to see Cap stay back off the net, reach high, and try to aim for Mencia's fingertips.
Yeah, there's some shot options, whether you're throwing a ball off the block. There's some other good ones that Cap definitely has hit plenty of times in his career. Now it's going to be a tight one, and he goes up, gets that one. Just barely avoids being hit with the ball or finding the court, but able to swing hard, curl up into a ball, and avoid it all the same.
And Cap lets Romero know where that ball went off the block. Romero looks at the referee.
And we got set point number 1 with a 5-point lead here. Untouchables hammers the serve. Ace,
Wow.
ace, in your face for number 4. Ian Cap goes after it. He absolutely cranked that ball.
Wow, Nick channeling his inner club volleyball tournament chance there. What a serve, though, from Ian Cap. That's his second ace of the set.
Goes up. Yeah, it was. It was. You know, he kind of warmed up the arm for that serve after that big swing off the block.
Dominant.
Kept right in tune with it. Just goes right back, cranks another one.
Dominant first set by the Chicago Untouchables, catching the Stingers still maybe possibly asleep, but we've seen this before from the Stunners. The Stingers. They are a little bit of a slow starting squad. It's kind of one of their characteristics, but interesting to see how they're going to come back after this set, Nick.
It certainly is, but we'll be right back after this. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back shortly.
The flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
And we are back here at the Pierce Sports Center. I'm Nick England. This is Matt Prosser. You'll hear the voice every now and then trickling in from Ira Thor, our man on the sideline. And we are coming back with another exciting set here after the Chicago Untouchables take a 6-point victory over over themselves, the Chicago Untouchables.
That's not
over
possible.
The Utah Stingers. What are you looking for in this one, Matt?
Well, like we talked about, we do know the Stingers are a bit of a slow starting team, characteristically, but to give credit to the Untouchables coming out with a good, solid game plan. The blocking was awesome. Paul Blonzik, I think 2 or 3 blocks in that first set. Ian Cap, 2 aces, 1 to finish off that set, as you so eloquently spoke about, getting that ace. And offensively, just really causing some problems for the Stingers. Untouchables playing at a higher level that hopefully they can maintain, for their cause.
In an impressive stat, 6 terminal blocks recorded for Chicago Untouchables in that first set. That is impressive.
That's a definite advantage for them. That's a great way to start. They need to maintain it throughout this set as well if they want to potentially get out of here with a quick 3-0 sweep over the Stingers, which would be quite an interesting situation.
It would also be extremely important right now. Chicago Untouchables in a bit of a race with the LA Blaze, so if they're able to lock in this win, if I'm not mistaken. And again, these points, we're all going to get some better takes for you and updated because it's ever changing. But that's going to be the Chicago Untouchables, I believe, knocking LA Blaze out.
Good motivation right there if you're a Untouchables player.
Romero cranks that serve. All three of the Untouchables diving out of the way. Quick one right there, but as Untouchables go back to serve with Moises Lopez, we're going to throw it over to our guy on the sideline, Ira Thor. Throw it away.
Hey, thanks, guys. During the break, I was able to talk with Utah head coach Mike Daniels, and he stressed to his guys, waking the beast. That's the mantra they're working with right now. Obviously, they want to talk a lot more on serve receive and do a better job of covering their hitters on the high balls being played. But he recognized that the team does have a tendency to start slow. Sometimes it's something that triggers them to get going. Sometimes it's as simple as getting blocked 6 times, like you guys mentioned from the stat sheet. One stat to note in that first set is getting Jake Langlois going. He has scored points on 75% of his swings, 6 kills in 8 swings overall. They need to communicate more out there if Utah is going to be able to bounce back and take the second set. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Wow, we talked about the efficiency of Langlois, 6 for 8. That's certainly an impressive start to the match, and they're going to rely on him to get the ship righted. And there he is delivering once again, kill number 7.
7 for 9, Nick. But yeah, you know, but this is a team sport. One man cannot win, you know, cannot carry his entire squad to a victory. So he's going to need some contributions from his teammates as we go on through this match.
Lazaro Fernandez, number 14. And there's Paul Bolonzik from the middle. Right now proving to be an unanswered threat from the offense and defensive sides of the Untouchables. Stellar match so far for number 16. Serving the net there, Cap not able to resume his ace pressure. Float serve from Day after Rosa, and there's Cap throwing it back to Eddie Kiesecker. Chisels it through his vision. You mentioned it in that first set, hitting that D-ball. Sees once again Langlois out to the pin. Hole between him and Metcalf, and Eddie taking full advantage.
Yeah, especially in that situation. Eddie kind of overran that ball, was a little bit behind him. He was able to still see the block and get that terminal point.
Romero to receive, quick set to the middle, nice shoot to the number 17 there. That was Metcalf, gets that 3-ball run.
You need to see more of that from Metcalf. He says, I can do it too, you guys. Keep setting me the ball.
It's all based on the passing consistency of the Utah Stingers. Back set from Buffum. Nugent gets a swing, ball on the net. Gonna be a point. That ball was still on the plane. Very heads-up play there by Buffum to dunk that one down.
Yeah, perfectly teed up there for Buffum. That ball definitely was right on the plane and able for him to take advantage of as the Stingers disagree, but Tony Chan had the right angle.
Eddie Kiesecker now serves that one into the net. And Metcalf is going to go back to serve, bringing Lazaro Fernandez back to the front row once again. Float down the line. And now Buffum cranks one, but dug by Hamilton Day, and Nugent ready to pick it up.
Another beneficiary of an overpass is Nugent that time, so credit to the Untouchables for getting back ready on block and defense and taking advantage of those overpasses.
Nugent right now doing a nice job. He's got 3 kills. Someone that we haven't seen play too much traditionally on the outside here, but picks up a dig there too. Just long. Great defensive effort, but this speaks again to the quality of the roster the Untouchables have put together, that they've got a variety of different lineups, setters, middles, every single position. And we don't even see Ryan Alou. The fact that we see just a huge difference in lineups is impressive.
Ian Cap just missed that one out of bounds long.
Low to Nugent. In system, Buffum takes a swing. Duquim not able to come up with that one. Catches him a bit higher than he's expecting. Buffum showcasing his live arm after snapping a couple swings back to zone 1 and dug by Hamilton Day. He now goes after Duquim on the other side of the court, finding success. Short serve taken by Langlois. Back to Mencia. Swings the D-ball, Gator dig there. Swung by Cap in transition. Hamilton Day outside to Romero, and Romero is stuck in the one-on-one by Moises Lopez, number 2.
What a solo block by Lopez, the undersized front row blocker as the setter. And just caught an elbow from Bolonzik, but shuts down the 6'8 Romero's attack line.
That is Romero's 4th time being terminally blocked. Set back to him, and Moises Lopez gets a touch, but not able to find the kill.
And Romero lets him know about it.
Unfortunately, you just hit it past, I'm not even sure Lopez comes in over 6 feet tall. So in a one-on-one situation, you should be putting that ball away 95% of the time as a hitter. Nice pass by Cap up to Bolonzik. Bolonzik once again. The tall man is very much around and ready to make his presence felt. Lopez with a float into the net. Float serve pass by Rosa. Quick set to the outside. Eddie Kiesecker rips that one line, but misses the court and the block. That's going to be the Stingers tying us up at 9 apiece.
Nick, 9 points through this first set. I don't necessarily feel like the Stingers have upped their level.
Nope.
I almost feel like the Untouchables have sort of dropped theirs.
They certainly have, but it's all going to come back with a couple big swings, and there's a big swing right there. Like we said earlier, the Untouchables are really in a tough spot that the Stingers aren't going to ever just roll over, so you really have to earn your win. And that comes off the back of good passing, aggressive swinging, and being willing to get blocked or miss some swings. But you really got to kind of ride that knife's edge if you want to take down the Stingers.
It's a risky ride.
Third missed serve. Right now, the Untouchables, and this is one of those things that you to take a step back and understand the importance. That's at least a third missed serve, if not more. So they're missing 30% of the points of the game right now with missed serves. If they start to cut that number in half, short up a little bit, you got a very different game. So that's kind of a positive note potentially here, but that's a positive one for the Utah Stingers, finally finding a stop in the middle on Paul.
Great statistical breakdown by you, Nick, talking about 30 percentages and 50 percentages and things like that in terms of the service game.
Try to do some quick math on the fly. We like to make this digestible for someone that might be brand new to volleyball, but also help people that are, a little bit more seasoned and veterans. Nice chip over the top, and the vision from Eddie Kiesecker bails out Rosa, who was standing out of bounds and made a diving move from out of bounds to out of bounds to cover that ball.
Yeah, you're only supposed to play the balls that are in. That one was definitely going to be out, and he knows it.
He knew Eddie just wanted that. He knew Eddie wanted the stat with the kill, so he was just looking out for his guy on the right, number 6 there. But another missed serve. Like I said, this is also one of those things, though. The Stingers, you've got to be a little nervous. Yeah, you're up by 1, but if those stop missing, this whole match changes quickly. Buffum swings high and deep. The middles are the difference right now. Chicago Untouchables are very, very active right now.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Whiskershin, I'm saying to my team, do not give these guys any free points. They're tired, they're struggling already. Put the serves in the court. Doesn't matter if it's got to be a lollipop. It's got to make it over the net, Eddie, and make the Stingers earn their points.
Now we're approaching 50% of the points being given away. I mean, that's just half the game you're not even playing.
Unacceptable.
It is. Metcalf now with the float. Taken by Cap. Nugent is blocked, and now we're seeing the block of the Stingers starting to come alive. Nugent getting blocked on the outside there. We've seen a block in the middle against Paul Blonzik. So this is what the Stingers needed after just one block in the first set. This is rapidly changing.
Again, I don't necessarily feel like the Stingers have played much better. Untouchables are, whoa, excuse me. Romero, wow.
A little bit tired of finding the blocker there, and I think he just wanted to find the court.
Talk about
pounds
terminal.
that one.
Wow.
Nice pass by Cap and a little bit of a tip over the top. And now Lazaro rolls that one to deep. Set the outside, Nugent cranks it deep. Picked up by Day. Romero swings down the line and able to drop that one into the corner. If those drops continue, Chicago Untouchables might need to grab an umbrella because it is raining right now for the side of the Stingers. And now we've got at 16 points, we've got a technical timeout. We'll be right back after that.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
And we are back coming out of that technical timeout. A 4-point lead being opened up for the Utah Stingers. They are climbing their way back in, but Cap now with a good pass and a big route. Dug by Metcalf. Set to Romero. Brushes that one off the top, but Eddie Kiesecker overpasses. Day goes backside to George Mencia, but George Mencia shut down now by Dan Nugent. Dan returning in kind, a little quick look through the net, letting George know, hey, this is how it feels when you stare someone down.
Mencia expects it, he can handle it. He kind of smiles and shrugs it off, gives it a little hand wave, and so yes, on to the next one, let's go. Uh-oh.
And that was an incredibly well-run set. Lazaro Fernandez up in the air at the same time. The bit goes back to Langlois, and there was a lot of people in the air with that tempo set. Nicely run offense by Hamilton Day.
Buffum needs to realize where Jake Langlois is all the time and not front Lazaro.
Cap goes to the angle. I don't know how he did that. From like the angle I happen to be sitting at, that looked like an impossible shot.
It looked like
Cap
he had hit it outside the antenna,
yeah,
but clearly he didn't. So he's attacking the block of Hamilton Day there, the smaller of the two blockers, and that one goes off of Mencia's back row position.
Pineapple thrown into the corner. Oh. Buffum now with the A-ball free set over. Langlois goes for the Bic again. And that's 4 for 4 on the Bics now for the set.
Popped again on Lazaro's middle attack path, and you know, Lazaro hasn't gotten a lot of sets, so I would stay home. And you're 7 feet tall, Paul. You don't need to jump. You can read and react.
And we're going to see a big jump serve now from Anovo Romero, but while that's underway, a little sideline hit from Ira Thor. Ira, over to you.
Thanks, guys. I talked to Coach Mitch Wishkerskin for Chicago during the last time out. He talked about, yes, they want to be aggressive out here today, but he's also stressing the importance right now of putting the first serve in play. They've missed 4 or 5 serves in this set, and the Problem is they're not scoring off of Utah's serves enough to negate those errors that they're making behind the service line. They're going to need to stay aggressive, but also make sure that their first serve attempts are valid.
Great insights there from our man on the sideline, Ira Thor. So just to circle back on that last statement I was making about Paul Bolonzik blocking, if you see Coach Wiskergen talking about that with him as well over there during the untouchable timeout. Paul Bolonzik is blocking against Lazaro Fernandez. He sort of commit blocked. Well, Lazaro hasn't had a single set attempt yet in this match. By Bolonzik jumping on Lazaro's attack line, leaving Langlois to swing away freely through the back row. Really have to prioritize who the hitters are for the team and tell your middle blocker not to commit on a guy that hasn't gotten any sets yet, Coach. Interesting strategies within the game going on now as Novo Romero will get us back into action here. And that ball goes out of bounds, is unable to be saved by JJ Rosa, apparently upset that Nick was in the way. Nick had to step away from the mic for a second, so flying solo here with me and Ira. So give the ace to Romero. 20 serving 14. Ball passed nicely by Cap. Cap goes hard cross court for the winner. Brings it back within 5 points now. Just in time for Nick England to be back as well.
Oh no, I was 100% on the way, but I take pride in getting to talk with all the players, so JJ Rosa just making sure that he can, you know, give me a little shout and see let me know what he thinks. But that's going to go tip over the top. Rosa now goes to Kiesecker, who resets that block. Going to be tracked down by Nugent with a nice bump set out to Cap. Cap hammers that one down off the block. Dan Nugent delivering a dime to the outside with a backwards bump set. And maybe Cap's the second setter on the court, but Nugent says, hey, I can do it too. Still down by 4 though, 16-20.
Great swing there from Cap in transition. Oh!
And that one goes in. And Novo Romero and George Mencia have a full conversation about in or out, and that ball just hits the line in front of them. A great ace, and that's going to go the way of Untouchables, now down by 3. Float serve onto Romero, overpass. Wow, the strong right hand of Cap, not to be moved, and unwavering defends the net for the Untouchables.
Cap winning the joust. We haven't seen too many jousts this weekend. It's more of a beach volleyball thing, not so much indoors, but Cap taking down that joust against Hamilton.
Duquim steps in front of an oval, and let's go ahead and call maintenance. There's a couple floorboards that need some replacing because Jake Langlois steps in and hammers that one and puts a quick end to the nonsense that is the Chicago's run put together. Float serve from Lazaro, taken by Nugent. Eddie Kiesecker on an aggressive approach line does not find the attack that he wants. Misses hands just high. Disciplined blocking right now from the Stingers, and they've opened it back up to a 4-point lead. Fernandez with a float, taken by JJ Rosa. Paul keeps that one just alive. Metcalf misses long and paintbrushes that one out the back, and it is not a pretty picture being painted there.
That was not a pretty picture or a well-played volleyball skill.
Nope, not at all. Just Untouchables still have a chance. We are late in the second set here, but there is time to make a move. And Cap is one of the guys to do it. Nice pass by Langlois. And Metcalf swings that one through. Luckily, Eddie doesn't come down on that ball, but it was right at his feet. That was almost a little scary.
Yeah, I thought that was going to end in a bad result there for Eddie Kiesecker.
And a timeout called now for the Untouchables. Slow the game down, talk a little bit about how they want to play the last part of this game, and talk about what strategy they need to employ going into set number 3. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We are back with Hamilton Day now float serving once again at Rosa. Bolonzik with a little bit of a push one. Gets dug by Duquim, and now Langlois jousts it down. Nugent unable to pick that one up.
And we have set point now for the Stingers to try to tie this match at 1 set apiece.
Float from Hamilton Day, pass by Rosa. Quick set to the outside. Nugent tries to hang and bang, and there's a net, but it's going to be against Nugent. Set was too tight.
Set number 2 goes to the Stingers, Nick, kind of like what we expected. Talking about that before that set started, so deadlocked at 1 set apiece.
Yeah, and that's a little bit what I expected last night when I was made that call for Southern Exposure. You know, this is what Stingers typically does, where they kind of come back, they strangle you out, and they start to just clean up the little things that may not have been going their way. And that's that 5-point win I was talking about last night. Well, 5+ point. I made that call with Southern Exposure. This is a lot more of what I expected. So we'll have to see now if Untouchables is able to answer back. We saw their middle starting to get slowed down. The Stingers block definitely picked up a bit, slowing it down, allowing for some more defensive efforts. So challenge is back on Untouchables to put the pressure back on.
And we'll be right back to show you what strategy changes they choose to make.
We'll be right back.
Flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
All right, we are back here for set number 3. Chicago Untouchables unable to hold the same momentum there in set number 2 as the Utah Stingers answer back brilliantly, locking down, I believe, a 7-point win, 25-18, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice response by the Stingers. We did touch on it before that set, but not necessarily playing extremely better, but also the Untouchables sort of lowering their level, which if they should know better, that's not a smart strategy to employ against the Utah Stingers.
Really not, but we are seeing Jake Langlois currently with 11 kills, is the workhorse for this team, trying to keep them going. We'll see if he's able to do it here in set 3. Paul Bolonzik definitely ready to take advantage again. He slowed down a little bit during the second set and fired right back up. Kept alive, a little bit of a chaos ball here. Moises Lopez bumps that to Kiesecker. Kiesecker rolls it in, picked up by Romero. Langlois chisels that one down the line, not able to be dug by Lopez. Float serve taken there. Ooh, nice save, one-handed by Lopez back row. Langlois hammers that one home, and once again showcasing his huge hitting variety. Goes down the line with a swing that we haven't seen too much of in the last 2 days. That deep, deep line swing, chopping that one over the block and over the defender.
Stingers are the beneficiaries of the 6'10" outside hitter, as usual.
Cap hammers into the angle, and that one is not finding a touch.
No touch. No touch, Ian. No one saw your touch. You're the only one that saw it. Nobody else saw it. Don't need to keep arguing about it.
Yeah, you cranked that one pretty well over the block. (3-1) now for the Untouchables. Lazar Fernandez to continue serving. Targeting Nugent. Backside to Cap, gets the reset. That's the one that he wanted. That one finding a home inside the court, 30 by 30, 900 square feet of target. In case you didn't know what 30 times 30 was. Cap already with 2 aces this match. Romero gets behind it, and Langlois goes after that one, and Langlois, we talked about 11 kills coming into set number 3. And the score at 4-2, he's already added 3 more to that stat line.
Just a smart swing by Jake. You know, he's been playing volleyball. We've heard the story last night. We touched on it. Hadn't played volleyball prior to walking on at BYU. Since then, he's been involved in some professional European teams, spent a lot of time with the USA national team, competed at some of the highest levels on the planet, and we're lucky to see him play here for the Utah Stingers. Day now with his jump float serve, passed by Rosa. Nugent on the left. Oh, nice head dig, and then blocked by Kiesecker.
Eddie Kiesecker was so far over the net, he was almost below the plane of the net on the other side, it felt like there. That was a really sound reach over.
Great exchange.
Jake Langlois dug that with his back and head on run as he turned away. Set attempt to find Metcalf, a little bit of a force there. I like the idea to find your middle activation if you're able to connect that one, but a little bit too forced, I think, and Metcalf not quite able to connect. Paul with a deep float, saved by Romero, and there's the swing they wanted. Untouchables unable to pick that one up as the 3 is threaded through the block. Langlois goes after his jump serve after opening with a float for the majority of the match. misses wide. Once again, he is really going after that left sideline. Quick set to the Bick, 5-4-5. Langlois is a man on fire. Kill number 15 or 16 there.
Untouchables need to try to find an answer for Jake Langlois, or else they're going to be facing an uphill battle.
Lopez back to Kiesecker. Kiesecker rips it deep. Finds Metcalf in the back row, taking full advantage of the absence of a libero on the court there for the Stingers. Nice swing by Kiesecker. Backside to George. Nice block touch by Cap to slow it down. Untouchables back in system. Cap swings but finds the antenna once again. And in case he doesn't know, Coach Mitch Wiskerson might want to let Cap know that the antenna is in fact out of bounds. That's the second or third time he's hit it so far this set.
It's legal in 2022, Nick.
The new rule change coming live to the FIVB.
Yep.
You heard it here first. Float serve goes to Nugent. Buffum cuts it back. His range has been all over the place tonight. He's been getting kills, thumbs down, wrist away, all sorts of different swings. Love to see that. Not to be outdone by Tall Paul. Romero the target once again, and for the first time, Langlois' Bick is dug. Nugent takes the swing back, dug by Langlois, and now Romero gets a chance. Or sorry, Mencia, and Mencia gets a swing high off the hands. Nice tool for him.
Mencia starting to find his stride.
Romero cranks that in, but taken by Cap, and now Paul Balanza challenging the double block of Lazaro Fernandez, and Langlois able to squeak that one through as it pops into zone 4 in that left front right there. Good kill. Float serve from Lopez, and now Langlois going into that inside lob set, cutting it back. Langlois is just a man on fire right now.
Well, he tried to do it last night and put his team on his back and just carry him to the victory, but it didn't work out last night. He's going to try it again today, it looks like, maybe with a different result.
Set outside now to Kiesecker. Kiesecker attacking that angle, 4-4. Romero not able to track it down.
Ian Cap getting ready to serve his team down by 1. This match deadlocked at 1 set apiece.
Cap hammers that one, finds Romero. Outside to Langlois, tipped into the corner, Lopez out. Rosa bumps that to Nugent, and Metcalf out of nowhere jets that one. Probably closer to the net than it started. That was an impressive block move.
Credit for Metcalf to stay home and get his hands up high and just throw that one back down, son. Throw it down.
Throw it down, don't let anybody pick it back up. And now we see Carson Hinninger, number 2, coming in to replace George Mencia. Rosa, good pass, and Paul Balanzik swings, but it's dug by Kaiju Quim. Langlois pulls it out of the net, and it goes over. Now you see a joust attempt by Paul. And Langlois takes another big rip. Rosa digs it, goes over the net.
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
No net seen from Paul Balanzik. Play rallies on. Metcalf tips over the top. Rosa's going to bump set to the outside. Nugent swings deep, dug by Romero. Hamilton Day out to Langlois. Langlois rolls over the top. 3 bodies on the ground, but no one picks it up.
Now you guys scored the point. You don't need to argue about the net violation that nobody saw. I don't know if it was actually in the net or maybe he hit the pole. I'm not too sure what happened when Balancic went down, but
I don't know. I'd like to go back and see it. Either way, that's exactly what Utah Stingers do. They keep rallying on, and you see where that experience comes through. They find a way to win it all the same. But that was a great rally. A lot of effort from both sides. Impressive to see all three untouchables making that move for the Langlois roll shot, but still unable to pick it up.
Yeah, well, you've got to respect the heat from Langlois, or the energy. He's got some nice range that he's able to turn it down and put it in.
Back set to the backside. Eddie Kiesecker high off the hands. Nice punch dig there from Romero. Langlois is going to try to work the angle game. Gets it off the top of the tape. Works for him. Now Nugent attacks into Henninger. Funnels it down. Wow, Langlois put a little bit of English on that one and gets it to bounce off the tape. Short serve goes to Duquim. Henninger goes up over the top and uses Eddie Kiesecker's hands for a point.
Carson Henninger, the 6'5" opposite, believe it or not, played his college volleyball at BYU.
Shocker. If you don't know why, it's because well over half of the Stinger lineup is BYU Cougar alumni. Tight pass, Lopez with one-handed set. Buffum gives him the option, and Lopez has had some impressive one-handed runs on tight passes to the net. Buffum determined to give him an option there. (13-11) now for 2 points. Back set. Oh my, Dan Nugent shuts Henninger down. Return that one to sender with some first-class postage. Float down the line by Eddie Kiesecker. Kai Duquim with a nice hand pass, and Metcalf dug by Rosa. Cap now on the Bic, answering in kind after Jake Langlois has been the one showcasing his Bic prowess. Now Cap able to correct a little bit and score a nice point there for the Untouchables, tied at 13 apiece.
Whoa, wait a minute, hold on, we have an overrule.
That one
called in and then overturned. The overrule called out. Point goes to the Stingers.
14-13. That was an important point for the Stingers. I mean, after giving up a little bit of a run, losing the lead that they established early on, right now it feels like Langlois is the only answer that's scoring points for them, and he's doing it well. But the second that slows down at all, you start to get into trouble.
Yeah, the Untouchables, they just want to keep it close, stay within striking distance. 2-3 points just at the absolute max so that you can get yourselves in a position to potentially take over the lead. See if they can figure out the puzzle that is how to stop number 10 in green.
Substitution being ironed out right now in the books. We've got a variety of systems back here that we're using. We use Data Volley to track all of our live statistics, as well as our referees have their own systems. So we've just got to make sure everything is flush and good to go. And we are back underway with Paul Clark, number 1, subbing in for Metcalf as a serving substitution. Hammers it into Cap's platform. Rosa's going to lay one up, see if Nugent can do anything with it, but he has to free ball it in, taken by Langlois. Hamilton outside to Enoble Romero, and that swing goes wide, well over the top of the block. And that is going to be a point for the Untouchables, tying us back up at 14 as Metcalf and Clark undo their sub.
Credit to the Untouchables for not giving up on that play. Out of system pass. Rosa comes over and sets. Nugent keeps the ball in play. That's the key right there. He didn't make a dumb decision. He just set it over, gave the free ball back, gives his team a chance to take advantage of the hitting error.
And the other big thing I do want to talk about is we just mentioned how much Jake Langlois felt like kind of the sole option. So by going short, even though it was a free ball, Langlois had to pass the ball. No longer a big option. The only real settable ball right there then, based on the way they've been running their offense, is outside to Noble Romero. So even though it's a free ball, there's a lot more to it than that, and it's a great job extending that by the Untouchables.
Great point, Nick. Great point.
Overpass now, Romero swings, and I just talk about how Romero hadn't yet been activated as an option and gets 2 points back-to-back. That's a nice little run, taking us to 16-14 and a technical timeout. Chicago Untouchables down by 2. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
And we are back now with a 2-point lead for the Utah Stingers, up 16-14. Things are going the way of the Stingers. Like we said, it feels a little bit brittle with Jake Langlois being the only answer, but now we're seeing a Noble Romero getting 2 kills of his own.
Yeah, Nick, great point. You know, they won set number 2. They're currently up by 1. And a little bit of a seesaw battle back and forth between these two squads. You know, Stingers still trying to find their legs. Untouchables trying to regain that magic from set number 1.
Buffum goes short, and there's the big attempt once again. A little bit of miscommunication. When you're running bits like that, a lot of the times you don't want to run the back row attacker on the same attack line as your middle. So he's over the left shoulder. A little bit of a mislocation there. But for a little more insight, Ira Thor, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I was listening into the timeout where Coach Mitch Wishkerskin was talking to the Untouchables, and he was really stressing the fact that, listen, we can't climb the mountain at once. Every little play, work for every individual point, make Utah work for all the points they're scoring. He stressed the important touches. Even if they don't get a terminal block out of it, slow down the flow of their swing, make them work for everything. He's happy with what he's seen from them so far. He says, listen, we're right there with them. This is a match we can win. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. And you see that same energy that I talked about in the timeout coming out right there with disagreement on that call. Close one, Romero able to find the corner. Goes over, taken by Langlois. And now Langlois hammers into that 4-4. Cap and Rosa stacked up on each other defensively, not able to find the move they're looking for.
Battle continues. Romero, see if he can help his squad here, gain a point or two, create a little bit more of a cushion.
Nugent battles with that one off the tape, and now Cap's going to swing into a double block, able to funnel that through Lazaro Fernandez. Float serve now. Missed by Moises Lopez. 3 points have got to be stopped and given away if Untouchables want to make a run. Down by 2. We are getting into the final turn of this little bit of a race here between Untouchables and Stingers. If you're just joining us, I'm Nick England, joined by Matt Prosser, Ira Thor on the sidelines, here with the NVA at Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. Quick set to the middle. Paul Blonzik has to punch that one over. Tip over the top. Misconnection there is untimely and certainly unhelpful. Stingers take a 3-point lead, and that's going to get Coach Mitch Wiskershin taking a timeout. And Stingers get a chance to talk about how they want to try to finish this one out. We talk about the importance of this game right now. Chicago Untouchables has their own destiny in their hands. If they take this win, they will knock out the LA Blaze. If they lose it, well, then we get into situations that I don't remember off the top of my head, I'll be honest, because things are just complicated puzzles. They're not very binary in terms of if this, or not the other way. It's a lot of a sliding up and down, things like that.
Is it safe to say that, fairly safe to say, that both of these teams have qualified for weekend number 4? It is not.
No, if Chicago Untouchables loses in 3, then LA Blaze starts to have a bit of control, but it starts going down the road of tied up points if they win it correctly, and then we go to match or set ratios, things like that. So it's we're using all FIVB standardized solutions. So if you're unfamiliar with the record, you can go check out FIVB, and everything is updated live on NVAUSA.com after every match. So you can check it out there as well. But a swing goes long there for the Untouchables, and that's going to be another point for the Stingers. 4-point lead, 21-17. Eddie not able to corral that ball that was well outside the antenna. Rosario Fernandez misses that one after a decent little serving run there. 22-18, still a 4-point lead. Untouchables hoping they can catch a break with Cap back to serve now, number 4. He's picked up 2 aces early on in this set and unable to follow that up so far.
Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, a little clarification here. Gonna see if it's simultaneous contact. Hit the floor first, or did it hit the player? Oh, out of bounds.
Henninger almost getting hit on the back line with that serve. Might have caught a little bit of a lucky break there. I didn't have a good
Not
vision
much more embarrassing for a volleyball player than to get hit by a serve that it's going out of bounds.
Yeah, that's
especially when you're not trying to pass it, you're trying to dodge it.
But now a 5-point lead at 23-18, and that's going to be Stingers really showing. I mean, this is almost exactly where we were in set number 2. At final score 25-18, we're right in that right back in that wheelhouse that Stingers can close it out.
That wheelhouse is open for business, like you said, but the Stingers, like we talked about earlier, just characteristically a little slow out of the gates, right? But midway around the track, they tend to loosen up and kind of find themselves, and we've seen that in game number 2. Now in game number 3, they're kind of hitting their stride. Untouchables have come back down to earth a little bit after riding that quasar at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, they were certainly just on one. It was pretty beautiful to watch. They were all over it, dropping the SAT words. And, you know, the big thing with it right now is Chicago Untouchables serve receive has been a little bit shaky, and you see them go to a 2-man serve receive. Dan Nugent now out of serve receive, so it's going to be Rosa taking that pass. Go to a big run for Cap. Outside Langlois chops it, dug by Rosa. It's going to be a tight one. Goes back to Kiesecker. Blocked back into his face by Langlois. Langlois is taking complete control of this, almost single-handedly.
I'm going to be curious to see if the Untouchables make any changes between sets 3 and 4, because they could spin the dial a little bit, get some other faces in there, and see what they can produce.
Nice set there. I talked about it earlier. Moises Lopez able to battle some of these tight passes, gets both hands on that set, and delivers that to Paul Bolonzik. Alou comes in as a serving sub. A little bit of a discussion right there. It sounds like about rotations and being out of rotation or leaving early. It's very rarely seen as a call here. Most guys, as long as you line up correctly, a little bit of early movement is allowed on both sides. That's what the down ref was saying. You know, no, as long as no one is achieving an unfair advantage. Back set, and that's going to go cranked off the outstretched arm of Cap for a nice kill there for Langlois. And that's going to be set number 2, much like, or that's going to be set number 3, much like the score of set number 2, 25-19. And that is going to take Utah Stingers heading into the final potential set here in 4, see if they can close it out. We'll be right back after a couple commercials. Stay with us.
Flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me.
All right, we are back for set number 4, taking a quick look across the nets, and we are seeing Chicago Untouchables unwavering in their lineup. They think that they've got the answer right now on the court, and the Utah Stingers think the exact same. One small slight adjustment, I guess, in the way that they're starting is Henninger is going to start on the court, replacing George Mencia. But it's the same way they ended, so no real surprise there.
No surprise whatsoever. Mencia struggling a bit this morning, so not surprised to see Henninger continuing to get the call.
Yeah, we've just gotten some recent stat updates, so right as we're about to get this match up and running, we're taking a look across the board. But we got our specialist on the sideline, Ira Thor, over to you. Lay it down for us.
Well, I think it's interesting to talk about right now, just the different approach between these two teams. And, you know, after I'm done just analyzing the stats, love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Utah's obviously leaning very heavily, as you would expect, on Jake Langlois, who's got 19 kills in 28 attempts, 68% at this point. but he's pretty much carrying the load. The team's got 36 kills. He's got half of them at this point. The Untouchables also have 36 kills, but it's been spread around quite a bit. 9 kills apiece from Cap and Keysicker, 8 from Bolanzik, 6 from Buffum, 4 from Nugent. So there's been a lot more balance from the Untouchables. The Stingers have truly been a one-man machine today.
And that machine continues to roll through town. Sorry, Nick.
we were on the exact same page, working on our communication since day one here out of the Pierce Sports Center, and only improved.
Yeah.
On the same exact wavelength. That is kill number 20 for number 10 right there, Jake Langlois. Lazaro Fernandez now for a float serve. Catches Rosa. This is going to have to be a bailout to Eddie Keysecker. And he bails them out all the same using the double block of Metcalf and Hamilton Day. Cap now going back, hammers that one. There's the ace. It's something about this side of the court for Cap, I think. The 2 sets he's been over there, he's been able to crush a couple aces, all 3 on this side of the court.
Good point, Nick. He has been consistent on the side that he does prefer to serve on, although this is a fairly neutral court.
And there it is. You see that quick set, like a shoot or a go ball over the top of the 3 there. A double block commits with Metcalf and then leaves Langlois home all alone to just throw that one down. Oop. Hamilton Day missing his float into the net.
See what Paul Bolanzik can do from the inline here. Try to help the cause, currently up by 2.
Goes after Duquem. And now a set to the middle. Sets a little low and a well-formed double block from Buffum, and Eddie Keysecker clamps that one up. Extends the lead to 3 here for the Untouchables. Paul shorts that one into the net. Now Jake Langlois, who's been going between his float serve and jump serve, will be looking to apply some pressure. I think he's looking at his jump serve right now. Nope, float. Like I said, alternating back and forth. Rosa gets a great pass. Buffum opens up the cannon. What a great swing there from the middle, number 20.
Buffum, I feel like we haven't said his name very much recently, but that was impressive.
Serve goes long. Buffum, just a quick stat check, currently sitting on 7 kills on 12 attempts with no errors. That's a great stat line. Currently +7 on overall points in the match. I mean, that's
get him going more.
Yeah,
you know,
hitting 1,000 or not 1,000. I guess no errors is what I'm considering 1,000, but that's solid swings from him. Oof. Dan Nugent returning in kind, and this is exactly what Ira told us about at the beginning of the set. The Untouchables want to run a well-rounded offense, and now we're seeing a lot of contributors here. Nugent gets one, Buffum gets one, and we'll see where Moises Lopez wants to go in this next set selection. Hamilton Day, no surprise to anyone anywhere, sets Jake Langlois.
Definitely not surprised.
I mean, he's 6 for 7 on the Bic with a tip over the top right there. Untouchables just don't have an answer for him. Serve goes long for Henninger. Buffum with an aggressive float down the line, taken by Duquem. And Moises Lopez able to stop. And Noble Romero, who filters under the net. Now Cap hammers, covered by Buffum. Lopez backside to Keysecker. Keysecker able to bounce that one off the tape, taken by Langlois. And now Henninger finds a tip over the top, but Lopez misses the contact as an off-block defender there. Sends that one soaring out the back of the court.
Beneficiaries are the Stingers on that one. Pretty much the easiest roll shot I've seen in the last 7 to 8 years. Lopez can't contain it.
Noble Romero with a jump serve. Sends that one long. Wow, big swing by Langlois. 4-4, crushes that into the angle. Float serve from Fernandez. Hard angle swing from Eddie Kiesecker, but not able to find the hands. That's going to be kept on the side of the Stingers now, opening or closing that 3-point lead just to a 1-point deficit now. Quick back set. Oh, Balanza gets underneath it, but you see Fernandez contributing with a nice one-handed dig. Love to see middles getting involved. Now Cap hammers and keeps the middle involved, this time using Metcalf's hands for a sweep off the side. Crushing that jump serve into the net, not quite able to find just over the top.
Another shoelace malfunction here for
Dan Nugent, and we'll see him going right back to where it's a two-man serve receive. Cap and Rosa taking the entire court. Hamilton Day goes after the sideline. Rosa's still able to get there. Paul Blonzik dug by Hamilton Day. And there's a huge block. And if you're coach Mitch Wiskerson, you've got to be gruntled about that triple block effort right now. You've got to see a way for the outside of Langlois to be slowed down, and there it is. Back set, and while he was slowed down in the triple block and the one-on-one, he still finds a way. Langlois hammers that ball, puts his finger to his ear, waiting for the hecklers to resume, and instead they resort to just booing him. Langlois not able to find that one. And now the entire Untouchables bench points at their ear and listens back. Love to see the banter between these two teams.
The game within the game, Nick.
It really is, and an emotional team like the Untouchables loves to get involved early on. And that's going to be a net from Buffum. Yeah, Matt Buffum absolutely destroyed the net there, but saved with a back row attack. That's one of those really interesting points of like what actually happened first, because that's still on the plane of the net and the net occurs.
I think it goes off of contact. So Hamilton Day contacted as it went over.
Gotcha, thank you.
Meaning it was a back row attack before the net violation. But don't quote me on that. I don't know the bylaws of certain situations.
That's one of those, it's a unique situation you very rarely see. Cap takes the pass. Nugent hammers it, but dug by Metcalf. Great move. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I love to see middles play defense, and right now, both Stingers middles working hard to extend some rallies. Great dig there by number 17. Taken by Cap. Cap is completely out. Buffum is the only option. Goes over the top. Hamilton Day doesn't get the touch he wants. Free ball coming back to Untouchables to try again. Nugent out of system. Saves that. He is out of system. 2 blockers up. That's going to have to be covered up by the team. Rosa now in the mix. Recovered by Nugent. And after trying to tackle the ref stand, Nugent able to right himself, get back up, and find the kill because Rosa was currently taking Buffum out of the offensive options. Didn't look like there was anybody to set there, and a prayer for Moises Lopez. He throws to the outside. Number 10 finds a way.
I'm not sure what just happened right there, Nick, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
All right, Nugent with a float serve. Targeting Langlois. Overpass once again, and that one's going to be tapped right back in by number 4, Cap. Set to the backside, dug by Nugent. Now high ball out, Cap battles back, and there's that same hard angle when it seems like the only way into the court is around the antenna. Cap squeaks that one in. A 3-point lead opens us up now as we go into a technical timeout. Nail biter here in the 4th set. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
And we are back. Nugent with a float serve. Gets Romero. Metcalf goes to the outside. Set to Henninger, who covers himself. Romero goes right back. Oh. And that time Henninger not finding the connection that he wants. 4-point lead opening up here. Chicago Untouchables getting right back into their groove right now.
I think that was the right idea that Henninger had. Unfortunately, the technique just did not result in what he was looking for.
Day tries to find Langlois. One-handed reception there from Kiesecker. Launched across to Cap. Cap blocked back into his face. Just that one was shut down rather terminally.
Strong block right there by Henninger.
Hammered into the serve receive, and Buffum goes over the top. A little bit of miscommunication once again. Now Buffum takes a second swing, doesn't miss that one. Huge kill from Buffum. Nice greeting as he heads to the back line. Coach Mitch Wiskershyn, and now you see Paul Blonzik entering back into the court. If the middles can get reactivated here from the Untouchables, they might really be able to hold on to this 4-point lead and send us to the 5th.
Trying to force a 5th set. Keep feeding the middles.
Set outside, dug by Nugent. Cap hammering home once again. Day covers himself, bump set to the outside. Buffum gets a touch off the ceiling, double touch. Nugent goes for the move and doesn't get it.
The double ricochet really hurt the Untouchables on that one. Could you imagine if we go 5 sets again, the second match of the day going 5?
I could.
And the Stingers going for back-to-back 5-setters.
That's a tough 12 hours.
That is.
Romero hits that serve. We're seeing the double bounce once again.
Ricochet. Another double ricochet.
Very timely ace there for Noble Romero, applying a lot of pressure all weekend long from the service line. Timeout called now by the Untouchables. This is a little bit of a run. Mitch Wiskerson going to try to slow this one down, but if the Stingers are able to get another point here, that's danger zone. I mean,
there's a lot on the line right now.
There really is.
Obviously, Romero, his jump serve has been a huge addition and help to the Stingers' cause. So, fortunately for them, he's on the inline. Meanwhile, for the Untouchables, they're trying to force a 5th set, so they got to side out here. Maybe Coach Wiskerchen's icing capabilities coming into play here.
Let's see if we get a coach's point. Now, worth noting, last night Southern Exposure had 4-point leads in 3 different sets that the Stingers were able to overcome and fight back with. So, pressure's on right now. We've seen them do it time and time again, and not like it was something more than even less than a day ago. It's fresh in their blood. So,
along with all that lactic acid still from last night too. Just missed. I wouldn't call that an ice, since that was a good serve that just missed wide. But I'll give Coach a half a point. He gets a half a point. Meanwhile, Langlois going OT, but covered up by Rosa. Cap in transition, dug by Henninger. Langlois again, this time down the line and out of bounds. Untouchables starting to smell that 5th set. They could taste it.
Wow. I just lost a little bit of a frog in my throat there. Untouchables have been unable to slow Langlois down so far. So when you see Rosa able to pick that dig up and earn that point, that has been so unachievable thus far in this match. So you love to see that. A nice defensive stop. Far better than my ability to speak words after a large coughing bout. But with a little more insight, we're going to throw it over to Mr. Ira Thor. Ira, over to you.
Well, I have to get you some cough drops after I'm done with this report, but we're going to probably be going 5 here. You got to save your voice. But listen in on Mike Daniels talking to his team during the last timeout when they started to make the comeback, got within 2, and he was stressing the importance of continuing the tough serving and then being ready for the overpass. Obviously, Chicago's gotten a little lucky here with balls bouncing off the ceiling that they've been able to at least control for a little bit, but they want to get the middles more involved. If they're able to pass within system, get the middles more involved, continue to keep Chicago off balance. That defensive mentality also has been stressed here by Coach Daniels. That's how they're going to be able to avoid getting to the 5th set.
Certainly is the case. The middles are the big X factor here. Who can get them involved? And with that shutdown right there, you love to see that. Eddie Kiesecker and Paul Bolonzik getting over the net once again. Jake Langlois finally starting to get stifled a bit. Short serve by Lopez. Rolled over, finds the tape. Lopez now covered. Rosa's going to go back to Kiesecker. Kiesecker swings deep. Not able to find the line. Confirmed out. Okay, there was a lot of discussion there. 4-point lead for the Untouchables, and that's going to go the way of the Stingers with Lazaro Fernandez now to serve, returning Corey Metcalf to the front row.
Stingers could benefit for some quick attack out of the middle from Metcalf and Fernandez.
A little bit of a 1.5 there, dug by Henninger. Big attack now to Novo Romero for the first time this match, if I'm not mistaken. He gets a kill tooling the block.
Out of the back row as well. We haven't seen that play utilized too much in this match, but Novo Romero obviously strong back row attacker.
More than capable, absolutely. So you love to see that connection. Float serve from Lazaro once again. And now Kiesecker just being a smooth operator on the outside. Number 6 finding a critical kill, pushing the Untouchables back to a 4-point lead here late in the 4th set, 22-18. If you're just joining us, I'm Nick England, Matt Prosser, Ira Thor on the sideline, and you're watching the NVA, pro volleyball here in the U.S. Cap hammers the serve. Duquem has to free ball it out. Langlois sets that one over, takes the setter out. Now Rosa to the backside of Cap. A big swing goes long. Langlois once again doing a great job taking Moises Lopez out, so there's no setter there to run the offense. That's that experience from the USA gym and a BYU Cougar you see coming into play. Moises Lopez with one option. Nugent has to roll it in, taken by Duquem. Back set and a high swing from Henninger, unable to find the court. And right now, the right side for the Stingers just does not have the answer to their problem.
Chicago Untouchables beneficiaries of another hitting error from right side attack of the Utah Stingers.
Ryan Alou, the second or the alternate libero for the Chicago Untouchables, coming in as a serving sub to see if just put a ball in and then see if he's able. Oh, that one didn't even get close. Tried a little bit of a side spin toss, but they're talking about holding him. Nope. Okay, sub will be undone and a return. Now, interestingly, yesterday we saw them using Alou in the back row for an outside hitter to anchor the passing. So I was curious to see if they might use him in that role, but right now they're determined to hold on, see if they can battle out and take us to a 5th. Oh. Missed set connection from Moises Lopez. 23-21, Utah Stingers catch a nice break there, earning a real point on the serve of Jake Langlois.
Down by 2. Langlois stays with the jump float.
Nice pass by Nugent. Now Buffin cracks that one deep into the corner. That is the run they wanted to see. The team with an ostentatious celebration after a critical kill coming late in set number 4, 24-21. Kiesecker floats that one deep. Romero hammers deeper. That one's gonna go long with no touch, and we are gonna go the distance. Fans, grab your popcorn. You've got 3 minutes until we come right back for set number 5 in an absolute nail-biter and critically important match. We'll see you right back here.
Flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, A cerebral beverage. Be smarter. Think faster. Live beyond.
Focus. Good pass. Put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass. Put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
We're back at the Pierce Sports Center, and we are back going to set number 5. I'm curious if we're about to have a repeat from event number 2 in Atlantic City. On day number 2, everything looked like it was determined to go 5. And right now we are...
I thought you were talking about yesterday. We had 3 of 5 matches go 5.
Oh, man.
Or do you not remember?
It has all blurred together into one great big gelatinous blob of great volleyball. And so it is all just bounced around between my ears. But we've got a great way to finish this one off here in number 5.
Romero to start the Stingers off, and that one sails out of bounds long. Oh.
Float serve. Hamilton Day goes to the outside, and you see Langlois able to get right back on the horse. Gets a big kill right there. That is kill number 25. Jake Langlois has won a set all by himself for the Utah Stingers.
We did see that last night as well from the man of the match.
Yep, Tyler Hubbard-Neal. Lazaro Fernandez float serving, taken. And now Bolonzik high off the one hand of Metcalf. Two to one. Untouchables now to serve. Ian Kapp. See if he can open up the cannon. Set over. Certainly not a very clean contact. Paul covers himself. Nugent swings deep. Too deep. That one goes out. Hamilton Day back to serve. Floats down the line. Ooh, taken advantage of. Nugent tries to better the ball, and better the ball he does. The out-of-system sets right now are really taken care of quite well by the outsides of Kapp and Nugent.
Nugent with a timely kill in transition, right?
Absolutely, and off the bump set of Lopez there. That was a heck of a move.
Lonzik now.
Float goes deep, but taken by Romero. Ooh, nice swing out of the middle. Metcalf is a name we haven't said too much offensively. Does a nice job hammering that in. Cap turns and asks the line judge, hey, if I hadn't touched that, was that going in or out? I'm hoping to get a little feedback.
I don't think she's allowed to say. Fraternize with the players, line judges.
Nugent has to better the ball once again. That one goes long. Enoble Romero.
Oh.
But bailed out from a block touch on the net, or a net touch on the block, if I said that correctly. But now it is 4-3 for the Utah Stingers. They are +1. Back set to Kiesecker. Kiesecker chisels it down. Steady Eddie getting another critical point, 4-4.
Nice swing by Eddie. Timely point scoring opportunity for the Untouchables now.
He's got 11. That's his 12th kill on 26 attempts. Now goes back to George Mencia, who makes his return to the match for Carson Henninger. Free ball over, quick set to the middle, and now Metcalf getting involved once again on a quick 3-ball.
It's important to note, Nick, that Jorge Mencia has come back into the game for the Stingers. He got a little bit of a breakthrough sets 3 and 4, I believe.
Yep.
For Carson Henninger, and Mencia back in.
Deep float for Metcalf. Dumped over. Langlois is able to get underneath it and helped up by Metcalf. High free ball coming back, taken by Cap. Set to the outside. Nugent wipes that off of George Mencia. The set location of the outside has honestly been not good, and Chris Nugent is bettering ball after ball after ball, saving the Untouchables.
Bailing him out.
Sorry, I said Chris Nugent. Dan Nugent. In case you didn't know, other brother is on Team Freedom. That'll be Chris Nugent. Couldn't make the trip out this weekend. But now you got a set out to the outside, and Enoble Romero finds that line swing that he's been looking for. Launched the last couple long, and that one finds true its target. That one's funneled back down by Romero. Lopez a little bit too short there, not able to battle back with the physical prowess of Romero. 2-point lead coming up now for the Stingers at 7-5. George goes short, taken by Buffum. Lopez to the outside, Cap over his head, but keeps it live, dug by Langlois. And now Mencia on the D-ball, gets the touch, reset, and now Romero swings high, and a block from the side of the Untouchables. Moises Lopez in the net, and that's going to be switching sides at 8-5.
Wow, Nick, just a little baffled myself that we're in set number 5 again, currently 8-5. Stingers in control.
Yeah, certainly, not out of the woods yet for the Stingers, but the Untouchables have to start answering back, and the Stingers are not a team to casually give up a 3-point lead, so this is no easy task. We have seen Untouchables close that gap up one time this match so far, so not undoable, but certainly got a journey ahead of them here. You keep hearing a lot of bickering back and forth on the benches like we've been talking all match. Everyone trying to build a little bit of mental real estate, get a timeshare over there in someone else's head and see if they'll miss the serve. We're a little bit delayed here on our camera screen. That's going to be Cap taking a big rip down the line. George Mencia attempts to dig it, and it is deflected back into the net. Buffum with the float serve. Goes into the net. The untimely mistakes right now. 2 back-to-back nets. Missed serves. Critical mistakes that Untouchables must overcome with a 9-6 lead now. And we see Storm Fa'angata Tafunga coming in front row for Langlois.
Jake, wow, in the front row. What a interesting time for that choice. Looks like Jake's going over to the...
His back. It's been bothering him, and I think it needed a breather.
Currently looking at his left knee.
Romero cranks that. Might get the overpass, but it's going to be recovered by Nugent. Quick set to the middle. Paul Blonzik able to score that point. George Mencia comes over to say hello to us over here on the side. Tough break. That's might be something the Untouchables can use here. Hopefully the remainder of this squad can hang on without Langlois. But I think we're going to see a timeout to try and buy some time.
Smart timeout taken by the coaching staff of the Utah Stingers just to sort of right the ship, let everybody take a deep breath. Obviously, I think the Untouchables see an opportunity, advantageous opportunity, with Jake Langlois getting a quick knee evaluation over there by our crack sports medicine staff.
Storm trying to get his legs warmed up pretty quick. He's been sitting for 5.5 sets. That is no easy task. We are back underway. Moises Lopez with the float serve. Clears that one. Out of system. Anovo Romero just clears the line. Gets a big swing. He is clean.
Stingers with a 3-point lead.
That was as close as you can get.
7.
Romero almost over, but just skirting that line.
Yep.
Blonzik answers back with a little bit of hammer time into the corner, goes after zone 5, down by 2. Jump serve from Cap, just long. Langlois makes his return to the boos of the Chicago Untouchables bench, who hoped to have Langlois potentially out for the remainder. Glad to see Jake. Scared me there for a second. I couldn't tell what he was doing. Glad to see he's okay enough to return. Hopefully he can battle through the last part of this match.
Yeah, we never want to see any of these professional players injure themselves, obviously, during competition.
Chicago Untouchables right now, the biggest thing is if they are able to just anchor their passing, they have the middles that I think that they can answer back, and there's still time, but it's got to happen right now. If they lose the point coming out of this timeout, 12-8 down by 4, that sounds like a bad time.
Now or never?
Yeah.
Or do or die?
Take your pick, whatever euphemism you would like.
Now or never, Nick.
Going with a euphemism full of alliteration. I like it. Literary terms for the day right there. Hamilton Day float serve into the 2-man serve receive of the Chicago Untouchables. There's the set to the middle. Paul Blonzik gets the kill, just like we talked about. Super important. Close that back down to 2. If Blonzik's able to get one more real point, this will be critical, but we're going to see Alou coming in now. This is that late game substitution from Wiskerson on the bench. Alou tried a little bit of a funky side spin toss last time, not touching that one here. Goes for a float, short to Romero. In the middle, Metcalf has had a late onset, fantastic showing here. That's his 3rd kill in the last set and a half. Alou and Blonzik to undo the sub as we're at 12-9. The 3-point lead remains. Back to that now or never situation. I think this is really going to be it. Untouchables have to make a run. Langlois to jump serve, cranks that one in, but well handled by the Untouchables. Ooh, that set is off the mark. Langlois gets the dig and clears through, takes a lap around the gym as Noble Romero into the tape. Untouchables live on. Eddie Kiesecker now, see if he can bring a little bit of fire and energy in from the service line. Float serve targeting Romero, backside to George Mencia. George gets a touch there from Cap, but George Mencia might have had a slow start, but that is a timely kill right there. Timeout called here. 13-10. So in terms of understanding the importance here, if the Stingers win this, that will they currently cannot catch the Texas Tyrants. So first place is out of reach. However, they can still climb back into second. And so it's going to be it's on the Ramblers to win their last match against the Matadors to take that second place. Bump set to the backside, touched off the block, and Nugent is not in the location, whether it's a disagreement about where the block should be or where he was supposed to be. Block and defense were not on the same page with that move. And we now have match point for the Utah Stingers. George Mencia goes to the hands of Nugent. Cap hammers it home. It's going to be recycled. Once again, dump over the top from Moises, picked up easily from Langlois. Outside, and a Noble Romero dug up, falls over, punched by Lazaro Fernandez, taken by Moises Lopez. Back set, off the hands, Cap able to find his mark, 14-12. Matt Buffum going to be the final server here for the Untouchables unless they're able to close this gap up. Goes after Romero, set to a Noble, and a Noble swings in the corner, and that is all she wrote. Utah Stingers take down the Chicago Untouchables 15-12.
What a battle. What a battle, Nick.
It really was.
10 sets played by the Stingers in the last, what's that? If my math is correct, 15 hours.
That's a tough, that's long. That's a long day for us trying to broadcast, much less for them to play. Those athletes just showing out everything they got. And we saw a little bit of the fatigue across the board. Langlois did not play on Friday, was still working, so maybe still some fresh legs able to come out and deliver here when the rest of the team might be getting a little slow late into that third day. But Jake getting it done for the team, and like we said, Langlois putting up right around 27 kills, but he's going to have close to 30 points on the match total score. That is an impressive effort to say the least. And I think pretty unequivocally here, he's going to be our man of the match. So Ira Thor is grabbing him right now. They're getting it ready on the sideline. Up after this, we're going to have the Dallas Tornadoes taking on the OC Stunners. Dallas Tornadoes making a super late run, 2-0 on the weekend, taking down the Las Vegas Ramblers, and they got the Matadors yesterday. If they win this match, there is a chance they upset the Matadors, who still have to play the Las Vegas Ramblers, and squeak out a late season run.
Another important match today on day 3 of event 3, getting ready for our playoff event in a month's time.
And I keep saying it, check out social media, Instagram, NVA USA, and you'll see all of the point scores going on there. Just checking if our guys are ready. I think they're ready over there, so we'll throw it over to you guys. Ira.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by our man of the match, Jake Langlois. Just a monster effort today. Second match back, more than 25 kills, responsible for more than 30 points. Must feel good to be back on the court.
Yeah, it does feel good.
Now, yesterday you came back. Obviously, you've had a lot of time off. How'd you get yourself prepared to work with these guys in such big situations, knowing just the importance of this weekend?
I think it comes down to practice. We've been practicing really well. We have 2 setters that are really good, Leo and Hammy, and we can play with either of them. And just getting our connection and being ready to play matches.
Well, you guys obviously now are coming down to the crunch time. With this win, you clinched no worse than the 2nd seed or no worse than the 3rd seed. It's all going to come down to what happens with Las Vegas now tonight. How much are you guys aware of the situation, knowing that, well, depending on where you finish, it's going to determine the matchup on the other side of the conference?
I think for me, it doesn't matter as much just because we have to win 3 games next weekend anyway. So we don't care who we play. We just got to go out and we got to get 3 wins.
Now, you guys obviously have a lot of pieces that can go anywhere with this team. Can you just talk about just the versatility of the Utah Stingers and why this squad has to be considered a championship contender?
We're really deep. I mean, as you saw this weekend, last weekend, we can have guys switching in and out, playing all positions. So I feel like that really helps us. Like, for me, I missed last weekend. They were fine without me. They did pretty well.
And then finally, we did see you come out just for a little bit just to check on your knee. Just how's your health? How are you feeling?
Good. It felt like my knee popped out a little bit, so I just wanted to check the tendons. Got the go-ahead and came back in.
Well, we're glad you are healthy because a healthy Jake Langlois is so much fun to watch, so good for the league. Congratulations, a monster effort. Welcome back to the court. Back to you guys.
Well, there you hear it. A very deep roster for the Utah Stingers, picking up a big win for themselves. And at this point, their weekend is done, and the fate is now in the hands of the Las Vegas Ramblers in terms of how that conference is going to finish up. That's going to do it for us. We're going to be back here in 15 minutes as the OC Stunners take on the Dallas Tornadoes. Don't miss out. This one's really going to be important for standings in the American Conference. We'll see you then.